Before getting started, let's revisit the scenario we encountered in our last video. We had a simple Angular application that displayed a list of programming languages. We then received a new requirement to display complete information about each language, including its name, year, and description. And to fulfill this requirement, we created a language detail list component. However, we faced a challenge there, where we needed the access to the same array of language objects that was present in our language list component. And copying this array from language list component to language detail list component violated the DRY principle. And we started looking for an optimal solution to this problem. And this is where services comes into play. Let's see how. Let's first open the terminal and type in the command for creating a new service. That is ng space g. G here is the shorthand for generate, and then s, that is for service, and then the service name. Let's call it data service for now, so data. Now here we have our data service, which is basically a TypeScript class decorated with injectable decorator. You can think of injectable as a label for class that is telling Angular that this class might be needed in some other parts of this application. It's like saying, hey Angular, this class is special, so be ready to use it elsewhere. And this provided in is a property of this injectable decorator that allows you to specify where Angular should provide the service. And since it is set to root by default, Angular should provide the data service throughout the entire application at the root level. And instead of this root here, we can also provide the name of a specific module if we want to limit the scope of this data service to that specific module. Now let's go to the language detail list component and move the languages array from here and paste it inside our data service here. And now instead of using the languages data in our language detail list component like this, let's try to inject the languages data from the data service. And this is where dependency injection plays a crucial role. But what exactly is dependency injection? You can think of dependency injection as a way of providing dependencies that a component needs to function properly, rather than each component creating its own dependencies internally. So let's see how we can apply dependency injection in our scenario. For that, let's remove this array and then make it of type any, set it to empty array, and then we will create a constructor here, constructor, and inject data service like private data service, data service. And with this, when the language detail list component is created, Angular will automatically provide it with an instance of this data service. And then we can set the languages array with the data service instance and access the languages array we have put inside the data service. This and hit save. So by doing this, we are adhering to the don't repeat yourself principle, as we are centralizing our data access logic within the data service only and using it wherever it is required. We can also go back to our language list component and use the data service to provide languages array here as well. For that, let's simply go back to our language detail list component, copy this and simply paste it in our language list component. So now for this entire application, we have a single languages array defined, which is in our data service. And now any updates or modifications to the language data can be done in one place, making our code more maintainable and efficient. As we conclude, let's remember that by using services, we avoid repeating the same code in multiple places, making our applications cleaner and easier to maintain. And with dependency injection, components stay focused on their jobs, getting the support they need when they need it. So, by combining services and dependency injection, we create applications that are both flexible and easy to manage. Thank you for watching.